to stand. He's a walk and talk kind of guy. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to sit right here and introduce this man next to him on stage. It's going to be great. All right. Ladies first.
Gentleman and a scholar.
And a scholar. I love it. All right, and welcome back to Studio Stories Live, guys. So I have the great honor of introducing another New Yorker, a really great guy. And
Negative connotation? I feel like that might have been.
New York, yeah. No negativeness at all. This is one of my favorite people, guys, and I'm so excited to introduce him. He's a mentor, friend, Live Nation vet as well, and now running and completely dominating the digital market with radio and sports and entertainment. My good friend Nick Constantino, you guys. You're gonna hear some really good stuff here. He's super insightful. He's a great guy. Okay, I'm gonna stop kissing your ass now.
It felt really good when you did. Guys, I am going to be quick. I'm going to tell a couple quick stories and kind of give hope because, honestly, this is the birthplace of so many things. I've been down here now for 8 or 9 years, and my goodness, what I've learned down here. So let's be clear. New Yorkers, raise your hands if you're in there. You don't know anywhere else the world exists. All you know is that there's New York, and then there's like some immigrant uncles from Italy, and you don't know it exists. There's the Jews in this corner. You don't know what else exists. So I've been down in Atlanta for 9 years, and honestly, let me tell you from the sports point of view. So I've been down here. I am lucky enough. Our office is in the Battery. I run the Braves radio network. So if you ever listen to audio broadcasts of the Atlanta Braves, it's coming from my computer because radio is an old-ass industry, and I was the young, dumb fuck that decided to go in there and try to make it digital. So if you listen to a Braves broadcast, give you some context, there's 6 million people listening to a Braves broadcast last year. That's all running through the computer, right? So when we moved down here, radio is old. I completely get it. But you know what? We were a bad sports town. We were talked about across the world as a bad sports town. Do you know how frustrating that is to go watch fans, to go watch people come out and to be a bad sports town? It is frustrating. You know what we are now? Fucking 2-time national championship, World Series Atlanta Braves. You know where everyone in the world wants to do sports? Fucking Atlanta. That's where everyone wants to be. So everyone talked about the World Cup coming. Everyone talked about all these different sports things. The sports is so good, and it's switched on like that. So all the music fans, all the people, it can happen like that. If you walk around and you go to a Braves game, do you know what I love? Do you know what I love about sports? You can have a valet fucking parker next to a CEO, and you know what they talk about? The Atlanta Braves. Do you know what they agree upon, the Atlanta Braves? You can have somebody who grew up listening to country music. I won't throw my opinions in there as a Yankee, but I didn't have grass anywhere, so I didn't know what the fuck country music was. You can have someone who loves hip-hop and loves country music next to each other, cheering for the same thing. Sports are great, and we have it here in spades. They're coming here for everything. SEC Media Days. Talk about a Yankee moving down here. 7 years into here, I was voting on the SEC Media Days, the all-SEC team. It was like betting horses. I was like, that's an awesome name. We're going to go with you, because I didn't know what I was doing. But it was so cool to get to see it all happen. And again, guys, it can happen like that in any industry, in anything. There are corporations here. There's money here. There are things here. So all you got to do, and I love the collaboration. My guys over here, I heard Block Party. I jumped out just because I heard Block Party. It was a collaboration. I was literally saying to myself, I'm like, shit, man, you drank. Just remember Block Party. Just remember Block Party. But there is so much opportunity here in this town right now. People talk about it internationally. They start talking about it here. I used to travel when I would be around, and you'd say Atlanta, they'd be like, oh, airport? Huh? Airport? Well, what do you hear now? Every show, every movie, everything is done here. It is spreading everywhere like wildfire. So I'm telling you right now, everybody in this room, everybody here, keep working at it. Keep watching sports because it pays my bills. Keep listening to music. Keep making content. Keep doing good things right, and everything will be fantastic. And I fucking love the ATL. Thank you.
So I was going to do a Q&A with Nick, but I think he pretty much just nailed what we're all thinking. So, I'm not going to make that joke. Never mind. That's exactly right. No, I'm just kidding. It was great. Thank you. And so we're going to go ahead and keep rolling along into it. And we're going to go right into the visual arts now. You've heard a lot from music and television and, staging and events and stuff. So I'm pretty excited to introduce this man here, Mr. Jason Hightower. Come on up, man. So, and just as we keep going, I want to encourage anybody that if you are here and you know folks that would be great for the series, and as we keep doing live events, please send them our way. Love to hear from folks, love to meet and network, and want also support, whether it's our Studio Stories series, Studio Stories features, where we go and actually feature some folks at their place of occupation, and then, of course, Studio Stories Live. I love meeting folks. I'm going to hold this for you.
Okay.
I'll stand up here.
A lot easier.
Absolutely. I was about to say,
Yeah.
I thought we had a little thing. You can use the stage if you want to.
Okay. That's awesome. I have a great assistant. Giving up for my assistant here. All right. What's up? I'm Jay High. I'm an artist here in Atlanta. Not a New Yorker like a lot of folks, but I love New York. Done some great paintings of some New York people. Love Jay-Z, love Biggie. But I am originally from Tipton, Georgia, a small southern town. Been here like 20-something years. Painting pretty much drawing and painting my whole life, but just professionally been painting about 10 years. And pretty much it's funny because sometimes your friends have to encourage you to take on your passion. I've been to different events and seen live artists at Funk Jazz Cafe, Apache Cafe back in the day. And my friends I have a lot of music friends, a lot of singers, musicians, so I got a couple of great friends. They put on this show where they sing live at Cat's Cafe. They're like, come on, we want you to paint live, bring the whole vibe here. I was like, I don't know, man, I ain't gonna do that. Had to ask me 3 times, finally okay, I'll do it. Been painting the last 10 years, doing these live events, mostly at Cat's Cafe, do an event called Harden Soul, live singers, live music, me painting, dancing, getting into the groove while I paint, because that's my thing, that's what inspires me. So it's just something that I love to do, and I've gotten a lot better since doing it. Whatever your talent is, whatever your creativity is, keep doing it, keep at it, because I was not a great painter. I was okay when I started 10 years ago, and now it's just kind of grown. I developed my skills, my talent, and it only gets better from there. And done other great, amazing live events, done some paintings for some celebrities. It's something that I know that I'll be doing the rest of my life. And so I have to keep following it because it's what's inside my heart. And once you do what's inside of your heart, it will always grow. It will always profit eventually. You just have to keep doing it. And really the profit comes from your heart and your soul. That's what profits the most.
Tell us about this piece.
This piece. You might recognize this gentleman. Right? The great Purple One, Prince. I did this mixed media, really, so little charcoal for the hair, color pencil, acrylic. Painted this actually at a live event at an art show. A lot of people have mentioned the Masquerade. Dope place. I painted there one of the last few events they had when they were located over off North Avenue near Pond City Market. But so I'm a great big Prince fan. Probably not the biggest because I have some friends that are total Purple fans all the way, but yeah. Yes, one of them in the room. But yeah, I've always been inspired not only by his music, but by his work ethic. My older brother had all Prince records, and so it was some of the first music I just really enjoyed and listened to. So I had to do a painting to honor him. I actually have done about 5 or 6 Prince paintings, one of which is owned by Sheila E. And I just love it. I got that, marker paintings, acrylic, watercolor. You pretty much use every type of media except for oil. May eventually play with that. Okay.
Anything else you want to wrap out on or anything?
That's pretty much what I got to say about all this.
Good story.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice. Yes, sir. All right. Well, I guess we're going to keep moving right along then. All right, I'm gonna bring up next one of my good friends and probably one of my favorite people that I've met in the marketing world because she is way smarter than I am, especially when it comes to, getting out your messaging and everything. And Miss Christy, Renee, oh, come on up, girl, come on, you on in. No. And just, she's going to be talking about the top 10 digital marketing mistakes and how to fix them. And so she went from a digital nomad to creative director, and now she has both real-world experience and agency experience when it comes to digital strategy. And today she is sharing the most 10. Oh, I said that already. My bad. I read things twice. Yeah, I'm gonna let you're much better on the mic.
Thanks, DJ. Thanks. So my digital marketing story is a fun one. While I began as a digital nomad and entrepreneur, very quickly I became a copywriter at an ad agency. Partly because I was sick of having myself as a client. I was the worst. Imagine your worst client you complain about, and the ones who can never make up their mind. That was me. I was that client to myself. But mostly because COVID hit and shut down the vision that I had for my business. As these things tend to be, this was definitely a blessing for me in my life because within 2 short years, just 24 months, I had gone from earning my first dollar as a copywriter to being promoted with director in my title so that I could kick down doors and make things happen. On top of this, I've learned more about digital strategy than I could have ever imagined. Strategy I can apply in my business and strategy you can apply in yours. So today, I'd like to walk you through the top 10 digital marketing mistakes so you can hustle less and enjoy your life more. Sound good? All right, so the first mistake is being an army of one. You've heard it before, outsource, outsource, outsource. But what happens when you're not ready to give up that creative freedom? Outsourcing does not have to be solely work-related. Where else can you get support? Maybe it's housekeeping, meal delivery, meal prep. Maybe you get a TaskRabbit to run errands. The important thing is that you understand your time for the valuable resource that it is. Has anybody ever heard the parable? Imagine you have a special bank account, one that deposited $86,400 each morning. The account carries over no balance and cancels whatever amount you failed to use during the day. It goes on to say that we do all have that special bank account, and it's called time. Every morning, time credits us with 86,400 seconds. Every night, it writes off as lost whatever time we have failed to use wisely. It reminds us we can't borrow time or take out a loan on ours or someone else's. And then it ends by reminding us that time management is ours to decide how to spend the time we do have. It is never the case of us not having enough time to do things, but the case of whether we want to do them and where they fall in our priorities. Keeping this in mind really helps me when that independent streak kicks in and it's too hard to ask for support. When I outsource the things that matter less, I'm able to enjoy the quality of my life more, and I'm able to spend more time enjoying being me, which as a digital marketer or digital world at all as an entrepreneur can be really hard to do. The second and third mistakes go together. Number 2 is overinvesting in your website, and number 3 is without planning your content or your customer journey. If you don't have a plan for anybody to see this amazing website, how helpful is it really? Number 4 is making assumptions with our messaging versus testing. A lot of times our brand messaging can be very self-serving. It can be very much, this is who I am, what I do, how I think I can help you. But what about our customers? What about our audience and the language that they identify with? Brings us to number 5, which is not going deep into the emotional need of our audience. So this is the thing that will set you out in the digital marketing space more than anything, getting very deep into the emotional state of your clients and how you help them. A great way to do this is by asking your clients for testimonials. Not only will you get very marketable reasons for them to trust you, but you will get straight from their language, from their words, what you help them with. And this is so, so valuable. Number 6 is assuming that digital marketing is a magical short-term solution. It is not. Be consistent with your brand and your brand messaging, and over time, you will make a difference. 7, thinking that you need a logo. There are so many people that get stuck here, spin their wheels, trying to make decisions, trying to define themselves in this box of a logo, when really, depending on your business, you could go years being widely successful before ever needing a logo. Instead, focus on establishing brand colors and consistent brand messaging in order to get your name out there. Number 8 is being on too many platforms at once or being on a platform because everybody else is. So while it is smart to test every platform and see where you generate the most buzz, if you're focusing on building a presence on more than 2 at a time, you're really going to be creating content more than you are building relationships. And that can be really fun, but if you're trying to increase your sales conversions, you want to be focusing on fostering those relationships over just creating. Additionally, being somewhere everyone else is. So Instagram, Instagram, Instagram. If you're a content creator, you've got to be on Instagram. When I first started, I built a sizable following on Instagram, but I learned something very valuable. Instagram was not the place my audience went to show up and be actionable. Instead, it was their passive time where they just wanted to scroll. By focusing on LinkedIn instead, I've realized far more business opportunities than I ever did in the months and years on creating Instagram content. Brings me to number 9. On top of failing to get to your emotional states of your audience, the biggest mistake that I see is not starting with a brand messaging strategy. Without one, you're likely creating content that is very good creative, but it's probably too all over the place to establish trust and improve your sales conversions. So this is actually such an in-depth topic that is so important. I'm doing a brand messaging bootcamp next month. Finally, mistake number 10 is thinking you have to have everything figured out before you start. I can be very guilty of falling into this trap, but the important thing is, as important as strategy is, do not let perfectionism get in your way of doing. Trial and error is still the best way to learn. But if you can focus on getting crystal clear on the language that your clients identify with, what makes you different, and a straightforward reason why your audience should trust you to be the one to solve their problems, you will notice a difference in sales. And you might be surprised that many of your competitors aren't doing this. As business owners, often we can be so close to the work that we do, it can be very difficult to articulate in a way our audience needs to hear. So this is the exact kind of work we'll be doing in the workshop next month. So if content creation is something you do daily or something you want to be doing, this could be a great boot camp for you to simplify your content strategy and really increase sales. So that's the top 10 mistakes. We have some Q&A if you guys have any questions, or I can run away like Nick did. It's okay. I forgot a couple of my lines. Does anybody have any questions? DJ. Define instant results. I mean, that I don't do events typically, right? So that answer will totally depend on your kind of business. For you, I think that would be, you're asking kind of a strategy question, which, you know, I'm happy to talk more about and deep dive into. But in terms of instant results, I mean, you have 2 different really goals that you could be working on. One could be brand awareness and one could be converting to sales. So if you're looking to say what's the best strategy to convert sales at an event, you said it's an app or what else?
Yeah, like for app downloads or like getting email lists, like what's the most successful way to gather that kind of information?
It really is like a strategy audit going into your business, who your audience are, again, going back to those audience need states, what they care about, what problem you're solving. It's not a blanket solution, as nice as that would be. But we can talk about it later. Did you have a question? my answer would be strategy. So whatever you're doing, make sure you have a strategic funnel to get them there. So if you do just have a website, that kind of goes back to the mistake number 2 and 3. A lot of people will think that the website is the be-all, end-all that they have to have, but if you don't have a plan to get them to look at that website, what's the point, right? So I mean, to answer your question simply, I would say consistency. Whatever you want to do, be consistent in it, be purposeful, have a plan, and outline in your head. If you do nothing else, outline the customer journey. Okay, they start here, then they're going to interact with this, then that leads them to my website where I do blah, 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 and make them take that next action. And always include a call to action, one clear call to action at a time. Let them know and tell them directly what action you want them to take. Happy to help. That's a good question. Again, it's going to depend on you, your business, and your audience. But I think that, you as an artist and you are your brand, I think probably both. I think that making sure that authenticity and consistency shine through are probably the most important ways to establish trust. So whether that's you being consistent in this is who I am and this is what I do, I think that could be very effective, but just making sure, and I think, this is something I definitely struggled with when I was an entrepreneur, and I think maybe, I don't know if all artists are similar to this, but consistency was tough for me because I would go through that creative phase of like, I'm so brilliant, here's all my things that I want to show the world, and then I'd need to cocoon for a while and be like, don't talk to me. And that I think is the biggest challenge. So if you feel that too, try to preload your content so that you can keep releasing things and just consistently show who you are, even in those times of like, don't look at me. DJ? Oh. Let me think about that for a second, because the answer that actually came out, I mean, it's definitely subjective, and the color that popped into my head was a difficult client I'm so tired of working with. That's what popped into my head, and I'm like, I shouldn't say that. So pass. I'm going to pass on that question. Pass. All right, I think that's all the questions. All right, MC, come pass the mic.
I can only MC with tequila in my hand, so we'll set this down now because I do not do good on camera or mic. All right, let's go ahead. Yes, sir. You pass one more over. Thank you, sir. All right, and next, I don't even know if he's in here. Where is he? Is he hiding? I definitely know. Oh, he's here. Okay. Here comes the big man. The big man. So, guys, once again, thank you all for so much for showing up tonight, and I'm very, very, very excited to introduce this gentleman right here. Speaking of longtime best friends, this guy, I have slept on a studio floor while he was still working in like 3 different states with him now. California, Arizona, Atlanta. Mr. Blake Harden here is one of the first people I ever met at Tree Sound. When I was there back in the day, we worked together for a lot of great projects. I mean, I could taunt him so much on, so this gentleman is probably one of the best audio engineers you will ever meet in your life. Not only just because he's good at his job and what he does, but he's humble. He knows exactly what to do on, everything from an SSL board to anything that you could imagine with the music gear. You walk in, you see him just working magic. And so today, he's going to be talking about Music Feast. I'm going to let him go over it, but this is what also is kind of part of what we're talking about in the future with technology and what's next in the industry. And I know right now is probably a really good time to talk about it. After Silicon Valley Bank and some of the problems that have happened in the cryptocurrency world, Mr. Blake here is hoping to bring a platform to the table called Music Feast. They've already developed it. It's getting launched. It's going to be really excited for artists and people that have any kind of their own art, everything from ticketing and merchandise to releasing MP3s and everything of their own. So full vertical strategy, really exciting stuff. Here you go, Blake. It's your time, bro.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you. I'm not much of a public speaker, I guess, so I guess we'll just try to pull it through. My name is Blake Harden. I have been an audio engineer for about 20 years. I've worked in a few different states. I started out here, worked at Tree Sound, worked my way around town, Smith's Old Bar, just pretty much did everything under the sun to be a better engineer. Moved out to LA after about 10 years, got in out there, started working with a bunch of people, different studios, managed to work with just got in with the right people, I guess, and just at the right time. And Travis Scott was first starting, and I got in with him, did a whole bunch of his hits for some years. Right after the Rodeo album, I got called to work on J-Rock's 90059 album. From there, it was I started working with Kendrick, SZA, Diddy, and the list just went crazy for years. So I was pretty much like an on-call engineer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 15, 20 years almost. And after just being paid late for that long and paying 20 years of late fees on every bill, I just kind of got sick of it. So, the labels, they're just not going to pay you on time, and they're not going to tell you why, and, that's just a brutal fact. And so after all this, I got a family, I got married, had a daughter, was living in Encino. Pandemic hit. Luckily, I just managed to move a studio right around the corner from my house with a couple friends, and we had a bunch of work there, but just started doing a whole bunch of independent stuff and working with more and more independent artists. Of course, the rate went way down, but at least I was getting paid some money on time. And, I kind of wanted to start harvesting the newer talent, or even more independent talent, not the mainstream anymore. Because what I saw in the studios wasn't what I wanted to be engineering. It was more of the big hits that I was making, besides some of the biggest ones, some of the other big artists, it's just babysitting all night long, and I can have my assistant do that. So I wanted to do more stuff that I wanted to, was interested in. And another thing, I just started to get older, and I wasn't identifying with the music as much anymore. So after a couple years, we decided that we would probably be best. My wife and I decided we'd probably be best in Phoenix. So we bought a house that cost less than my crappy apartment in Encino, in a brand new neighborhood, in a brand new house and everything. So I'm just basically producing, working on stuff that I want to work on now, doing a lot of still independent stuff. But I got interested in the NFTs and all that stuff during the pandemic, just like everybody else. I wanted to figure out what they were, because it didn't make sense to me that just this digital image, it's like a digital baseball card. I get that, and I'm real into collector stuff, Hot Wheels, and old toys from Burger King, and just cool stuff that you grow up with, that you save because you think it's cool, not because you think oh, it's gonna be worth $1 million one day. But I have old punk rock T-shirts from the 80s and 90s. I have just all kinds of weird collector stuff. So I saw this as this is the new collector thing. I'm this is cool, and I wanted to understand it. I started talking to some friends that kind of traded them and whatever, and then I talked to DJ. He's known about them forever. And I'm where am I going to get into this? Because I want to learn about it. This is new. I'm, kind of at an impasse in my career. I want to try something else. So I started talking to some different people. I was working with an artist at the time, and she said her cousin was into crypto and metaverse stuff. So she linked me up with him. He lives in Canada. We just started talking on the phone. And conversation after conversation, just throwing ideas in the air. I'm how can we bring blockchain technology to the music industry? Because there's been people touting these NFTs left and right to music industry people. So if you say NFT to an A&R, they're going to turn the other way and just walk right out the door, because they're don't give me another scam. I'm sick of losing money or being promised money, and you know, I don't want to hear about it. But what nobody was doing before was like utilizing the utilities behind an NFT, the contractability, the certificate of authenticity ability, the ticketing, all the stuff that goes along with it, immediate payment methods. It's like if you had a 1984 Metallica t-shirt today, and you had a thing that said, this shirt is from 1984, and I got it on this day on the original drop date, or like from this show, it'd be worth $5,000 for a t-shirt. Now, like, that's what I want to bring to the market, like, for the future, for like, I'm sick of, I've been to the swap meets in LA and different places where they have like fake vintage clothing and all this stuff, and you ask them that it'll be $65 and it's not even real vintage, or maybe they'll lie and it's still not, you know. So it kind of burns me every time, and I'm like, you know, if there was something that they could just bust out and be like, see, this is it, and then you can sell that one thing with the article of clothing or whatever it is. So anyway, long story long, my partner and I, we started talking. We got another partner of ours involved, Dion Primo. He was out here for a long time. He's a really great rapper, really great writer. Him and I kind of had the music industry connections, and our other partner had the crypto connections. And we basically started as a consulting company, because we were like, you know, since we all finally understand what this blockchain thing can do, since we all understand like its potential, like let's try to bridge the gap between the industry and the programmers. And so we just sat down and we're like, what do we need to do? What is going to confuse the public? Like, a lot of the crypto industry is they kind of sit on their high horse with, you have to get a crypto wallet, and then you have to get this crypto coin, and then you have to get this other one and this other one, and you're paying transaction fee after transaction fee, and after interoperability between the blockchains and all this other crap. And it's like, yo, why can't we just write a script that just, you put your debit card in and it just does it? So that's what we did. We're like, you know, we're not trying to like make you realize you're doing it. We're trying to be like solar power, where you turn the light on and it works. You don't know how your solar panels work, but the electricity works. So we want the transaction to work, right? And this is like, it's like a permanent receipt. So that's why we want it to work. So we started talking. This blockchain called Near Protocol, they basically accepted us into their ecosystem. My partner Justin has been in there for a while. He had another, is a foundation that got art supplies for people in Nigeria for a long time. And so he knew a bunch of people in there. And we started talking to them, and their transaction fees are extra low. And their ability to mint NFTs is fast, and the ability to mint them, a lot of them is there. They can do a lot very fast for a low rate. We're like, well, this is perfect for the average consumer. We're sick of NFTs being for ultra rich people. Like, there's no reason. So let's bring this to real life. So we start talking to people. They're sticking us with other people that they're giving grants to, like other companies, and we were kind of consulting here and there, and it turned out that everybody else was not really on the same type of honesty and goodwill that we felt we were on. That's like a nice way to put it. And so we were like, you know, we're just going to do our own thing. We're going to make our own platform. We're going to get our own grants. You know, none of us have extra money to do this, so we basically figured it out. And my partner is good at paperwork, and my other partner is good at ideas, and we just all put it together. And we started the grant processes, and we got denied, and we talked to a bunch of people, and they brought us back in front of the same people, and then we got part of the grant that we wanted, and they, you know, that was enough for us to start building, secure some talent, to like do everything we need to do to get the car kind of pushed down the hill. So that's basically where we're going right now. We're about to push it down the hill and get it rolling. We're getting a whole bunch of thank you. We're getting a whole bunch of artists involved. Like whoever feels like it, you know what I mean? Give me your info and we will just. It's super easy to join. It's free. But basically what it is a 5-tiered system. Well, it's a 6-tiered system. And we're basically giving you a blank marketplace. It's like a SoundCloud, but it's a whole entire marketplace for your whole entire campaign. So you take your single, but maybe you don't want to do it with your single. Maybe you want to have an advertisement single, kind of like the Heart Part 4, Heart Part 5, something like that. And I've been using this example for a long time, and the Heart Part 5 just won 2 Grammys, and I was like, see, I just was vindicated, So that song isn't on the album. It's just an advertisement song for the album. So basically, you send us that, or if you're an artist, that's the first tier, is the audio NFT. The audio is also going to be released in the traditional market. But the reason why they would buy the NFT is because that's going to be the key that unlocks the private Discord that the artist gets and the rest of the marketplace, 5 more tiers in the marketplace. So that's basically everything that we do, every NFT that we have has a utility behind it. It has like a feature that's more than, it ordinarily, just something to look at or whatever. It's cool. So the next one is a video. The second tier is a video. Well, first of all, the first tier, we don't want it to sell out in one day. We want this to be a store for people to have, like a marketplace to run a campaign on. So you want more people to discover you every day. If it does run out, that's great. We'll make a second one or whatever. But we mint 1 million NFTs for the first one. And if you get more than 1 million, then man, everybody's gonna be rich. It's gonna be awesome, But the first one is low cost, $3 to $5, $6 maybe. We want everybody to be included in it, and basically the artist would run all of their social media and everything back to their Discord, and say I'm releasing all my stuff on Discord now. All my new announcements. I'm going to be on the Discord twice a month, at least twice a month, live, talking directly to the fans, getting direct feedback from the fans without all of the noise that's on like every other social media account because it's free. Everybody in there paid $3 to $5 to be there. And they want to be there because they want to see you live and they want to interact with you live. Now, if somebody gets out of hand, A, they paid to be there, but B, you can just kick them out. No big deal. They still paid to be there. You know what I mean? It's no refunds. So, so then the second tier, which you have to have the first tier to get to, and that's the only one you have to have. It's the key to the whole marketplace. But the second tier is the video, and we're in talks of making it like a spatial audio experience. And or possibly, hopefully, an Oculus experience or virtual reality experience or something like that. And I have some friends in LA that have a studio that they do all that. It's called 4D Fun. It's an amazing place. But yeah, so the second tier would be about 100,000. Let's say if there's a million of the first one, there'll be 100,000 videos. We make it a limited number of videos because let's say it does crack off and it is real cool. It gets sold out. Well, we have a secondary market right on the site where you can resell the NFT, and you can charge whatever you want. But the best part is the artist gets 10% of the resale. So no other, we can put in any amount that we want. This is just 10% because that's what we chose, and that's what's like commonplace. But there's not too many other secondary markets where you're getting that, where the artist is getting the kickback. Imagine if Metallica got a kickback off their 1984 t-shirt. You know what I mean? That'd be great. So then the next 2 tiers, every tier is basically like that. The next 2 tiers are merch tiers. That's where we would get like some limited edition or exclusive merch, collabs, like something special that you want your artist to have, a less expensive one and a more expensive one. And it can be anything. I have a company that we were working with. They're great. They're one of the best logistical textile manufacturers in the game right now. Like everything's run off a QR code, and it's basically foolproof. And I visited the factory. One of my best friends is the guy who's going to probably be running and in charge of a bunch of the gear. Just everything kind of fell in place right when we were looking for it. And I had the opportunity to go visit it and just to verify, and it just made me even more confident. Like, we can do one-offs real easy. Like I think, maybe don't quote me on this, but I think we're very close to being able to do every graphic just a little bit different. So like we say we have like a graphic, but you just want this one to be a little bit different, and that one, the next one, to be a little bit different. And we have the ability to get those printed with the direct to garment and with the technology, the logistic printing technology that they employ there. So it goes good with the NFT aspect because that's all one of ones now. And you have the NFT that matches up with the unique shirt, you're not getting bootlegged because they ain't even gonna know what to bootleg, you know? So that's what those two tiers, that's what that's on. The next tier is a cool tier that I'm not gonna say we stole the idea, but like it's a good idea. The royalty splits. And so what we're going to do is take 40% of the song, break it up into 40 pieces, 1% each, sell 40 NFTs. So sell 40% of the song in 1% splits. And if it goes gold, everybody gets gold records, whatever, you know, like everybody gets to enjoy the fruits of if the song blows up. If not, it's a cool thing to have because you enjoy the artist, you like the song, you believe in the artist, whatever, you know what I mean? It's just like any other collector thing. You can buy all 40, you can, you know, do whatever. And then, so yeah, there's that tier, and then the last tier is like a one of one, an official one of one, or an experience, or something like that. So we kept it like traditional NFT style, like crypto, but it's really, we use a lot of physical things in it. We want it to be like, if the crypto market crashes, we don't want you to lose all your value. Like if the crypto market crashes, it doesn't even matter. You can still use your debit card to get the stuff. Okay, let me back up. So what we've done is we've taken the wallet, the crypto wallet out of the equation, and we've taken all the weird cryptocurrency buying out of the equation. All the transaction fees and all that crap. And basically, instead of connecting to the site, you log into the site. And when you log into the site, it lets you authenticate through, let's say, like your email, I think Facebook, Chrome, a couple other things. So you don't have to get a wallet. It automatically generates you a wallet, but it's called your account. It's a wallet, but it's called your account. Then you, instead of having to purchase all the crypto stuff, you're logged in. Then once you're logged into the site, you want to purchase something, you put your debit card in. The debit card goes in, fiat currency, switches over to cryptocurrency. It's called the Feast token, which is our proprietary token, but it's run on the Near protocol. It does its thing, and then it pays everybody immediately that's on the smart contract. Everybody gets paid immediately on the smart contract. So you get paid in stablecoin. It switches it over to stablecoin and then pays immediately. Now, I'm glad that the thing with the banks happened when it did, because it just keeps happening to us. Every time we try to get a grant, something crazy happens. Every time we try to do something, something crazy happens with the market. So this time we were about to launch, just do a super soft launch, but then the bank crashed, and then the stable coins started getting all funny. So it allowed us a second before we launched to like get back, reassess everything that's going on, and we're still kind of looking at it to see what we're going to do about the stable coin situation. But having the stable coin, switching over to stable coin and going into the private accounts or the private wallets of the artists and the writers or whoever, it allows for it takes out the volatility of the cryptocurrency. So because cryptocurrency will go up 30% in one day, go down 40% in one day, you never know what's going to happen, but a stable coin is usually $1. So like we switch it over to $1, everybody gets paid their dollars, and they can cash them out as they want. So if you make $1 million, you can take out 1,000 if you want, and just leave it there and not get taxed on the whole million until you're ready. You know, or even better, you can continue your crypto buying and selling in the ecosystem, which is just going to make it even more, you know, even stronger and worth more. But if the crypto does fail, my point is, if the crypto does fail, all we use it for is transactions. We don't use it as like, this is what your stuff is worth. Like, you have a t-shirt, if it's worth $1 million to somebody, they're going to give you $1 million and everybody's going to be happy, you know? Like, crypto it's just a tool that we're using to basically fulfill the need, you know? And personally, I think it's, again, I love the certificate of authenticity side of it, where it's like, now I know I'm not buying something fake because I have an NFT, and you can't really fake those. I mean, you can, but geez, like it's going to be a task. So, and I have a million ideas for different uses of it. It's basically like a wheel. An NFT is basically like a wheel just for the metaverse and the cryptocurrency, you know, the alternate markets. And so if anybody has any ideas that they would like to bring to me, that they have ideas for crypto or NFT use or anything like that, like I have the people that can build that stuff. I have the tools now built basically that we could just repurpose and, you know. But yeah, and also any artists that, or if you know any artists or whatever that want to start a campaign, it's free. We take 30% of the NFT sales, the artist gets the rest, or whoever else is on the smart contract. The physical song sale, like in the traditional market, company gets 10%, artist gets 50%, community gets 40%. Like I said, we auctioned it off. The whole company is basically community owned, so the more NFTs that you buy, it's like more tokens that you get, and that's more like basically shares of our company. So it's not a company, it's called a DAO, and that's what like a community-owned company on a blockchain. And yes, that's basically my spiel. I'm not trying to sell it to anybody. That's just what I've been working on since I got burnt out of getting paid late for a long time. I still love the music. I still love the grind, and like everybody said, it's all in your relationships. It's all in like grinding, like keeping going every single day. Like the only reason I got to do all the things that I did was because I answered the call every day. Like I answered the phone every damn day. And I would be in the session till 10 in the morning, and I would get a call at 1, and I would have to go back and work with Kendrick. And then you're going to make a hit. So you got to figure out how you're going to do that, you know? And that was for 15 years. And it was just like, after that, you figure out what you don't want to do anymore. And like that's where I'm at now, and I feel like I want to raise my family and then help others. You know, I feel like this is. I'm really glad I'm in Atlanta for this because LA is the place where I'll call like these execs, and they're like, we don't want to hear anything about your crypto because A, their system is working. They don't want to hear my new system. They don't want disruption. I don't even want to go into it on the mic, but they don't want disruption. They want to keep their system how it is. But to me, giving away free mixtapes with no way to get a response, like no way to capture market research. Your Discord is there forever. You get full market research of everybody that ever said anything to you about your music or whatever. Like you have social media, but you got comments from bots, haters, your mom, like whoever, you know, it's just noise. So if you just got a place just for fans and just to utilize, like I think it could be, you know, very beneficial for a place like Atlanta where there's a lot of artists that aren't on, that are grinding. This place, after living here and moving to LA, I've realized that this is where everybody grinds hard and they make all their best music. They make their best art here because they're grinding so hard. Sophomore jinx happens when they go to LA because they give them all the money and they start bullshitting them. You know what I mean? They tell them how great they are. They give them all the jewels, all the clothes, all the whatever, babysitting every day. And then it's like, it gets lost in the sauce. But here in Atlanta, everybody's grinding. Nobody's getting paid. In LA, they promise to pay you. They promise to pay you a lot. They'll pay you late, but they do. But here, nobody's getting paid. And I didn't figure out how to get paid until I moved to LA. Like, I didn't know how to build a label. And I worked here for almost 10 years. Worked on Usher's Raymond vs. Raymond album, didn't know how to build a label. You know? And that's how you could get lost in the sauce here. Like, this is a whole other thing where you're literally selling your song, first of all. You're selling music again because of the music NFT. And you're directly correlating with your fan base without all the noise, without giving away free mixtapes into the world, without, you know what I mean? Like, you can communicate directly to your fans and give them real, like, if you see somebody with this limited edition t-shirt on and you're a fan of that person too, boom, you guys know your friends. That's how scenes used to be back in the day before the internet. That's how the punk scene used to be. If you're walking down the street with a Ramones shirt on and it's 1995, I'm going to ask you where the punk shows are because that's what I've been looking for. And so I feel like this could build independent scenes a little bit more. It could build the rapport of, you know, of a real underground scene. That's really what I come from. You know, I've done all this major label stuff, but that's what really drove me crazy was that I've never been into that. I've always been punk rock or into house music, weird underground stuff, underground hip hop, everything. And for it to all come back like this, I've always wanted to give back. And I thought I was going to open a venue for like all ages venue or something. That's what I wanted to do when I was 17, to give back. But now I think it's this because it's even more like people can sustain themselves. And then if they pop off, this stuff is going to be worth good money in the future, you know? Like imagine having a Metallica t-shirt from their first tour and an NFT, you know? Crazy. Like, come on. And imagine, check this out. Imagine going on tour and you don't even have to buy your merch first. You just have a couple iPads that say, order your merch, order your NFT for your merch. You can resell it later. That's the Salt Lake City show. We can print Salt Lake City right on it. You don't have to fill up the bus or the van or the trailer or whatever you're traveling in with all the merch. You don't have to pay it up front. Like, everything's drop ship, print on demand. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, we lined it up for them and we're not charging anybody to onboard. So like this is how much we believe in it because it's not like some make money quick scam. I just want to bring transactions to the near blockchain because that's who's really going to pay money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to make money, but I want them to bring transactions to this blockchain because the blockchain people are going to be like, man, we're going to give you more cool stuff to do more cool stuff with. You know, because that's what they do. If you bring cool stuff, they're going to give you grants and things like that to make it cooler. And then that's just going to make it cooler for everybody else, you know? So that's what we're on, you know, and DJing. We'll be DJing. But yeah, I guess that's it. And if you guys need any songs mixed or any NFTs made, just let me know, you know? Yeah, is there any questions? Yeah, I answer any questions because it's a confusing topic, I know. Sick, yeah. So I got to work on this dude Musiki Scales album out here. Yeah, like years ago, I used to work with this guy. His name is Justin Ellington. He's a Tony Award winning Broadway play producer and like one of my first mentor out here. And we recorded Musiki's album, a bunch of it, and like the one with Feeling the Funk. I forgot the name of the album, but it's great. And then we also did like a bunch of Afrobeat stuff in the same Kebby Williams album. Yeah, we did his album, and so those are probably two of my all-time like favorite sessions because there was so much cool stuff going on all the time. But like some of the stuff that went the biggest was probably the Kendrick stuff, like Duckworth, probably that was like real memorable, and then like Fear was like a real memorable day because I didn't even get credit on it. It's funny, but I recorded the vocals. It was like super intense, you know, like it wasn't super intense, but we were very focused. And I have this way, when I work with some people, it's like this energy that our minds are just connected invisibly. And he would sit at the credenza behind me, and I would be sitting up here and at the desk and be working. And I remember this day, he came right in, got to work, and we just started going. And he did that, the beginning of Fear and most of it. And he was just going, and we're fixing it, and being real specific on it. And then when he was done, I sat for like 20 minutes with the headphones on. I wasn't paying attention to anything. I was just in it. And when I pulled the headphones off, like I turn around, and like Alchemist is there, and DJ Dahi, and like all these other dudes, and there's like a whole room of like legends. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, and it's been a couple times like that. But like, yeah, those are probably some of my favorite sessions because everything was such a high quality. Everybody came with their A game. And when everybody comes with their A game, you want to come with your A game. But when you're sitting around babysitting dudes drinking lean all night, you just want to sit there and be like, man, you're not even saying the word right. I'm punching you in and you're not saying it right, man. Like, you don't even know what the next line is. You're just making it up and making my wrist hurt. You know, like it gets like that. And the problem is I mean, partly from what's selling and what the labels are focusing on, and you know, that's the battle that independent artists have to, and people that are outside the mainstream, like I'm not gonna say real artists, but more underground artists have to deal with, and it's part of the blessing though as well. You know what I mean? Because when everybody starts to like you, then you're played out. So it's like it's a gift and a curse. You know? So. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, when I was hearing it, you know, I was feeling it too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and sometimes it takes me a minute to digest the words because I'm listening to the sounds. And then like, and he's spitting it out so fast. And it's a lot. And I'm like, damn, did he just say that? Like, damn, like, he's going in. And I'm like, I'm just working and trying to think at the same time. And I was like, damn, it's so powerful. That happened a lot of times. It happened a lot of times in sessions with him. It's just like, it's super powerful and super like blessed, you know what I mean? But that's awesome. I'm glad, you know, because that's kind of why I do it. You know, I made a goal. When I was living here, I was working on a lot of ratchet stuff, triple ratchet. And I had to make this goal. I was getting depressed. I was like, I need to make music that's better for the world. Like, I had to make the goal and be like, I have to stop making music that's bad for the world. And so in doing that, that's what led me to that. You know what I mean? That is what led me to that. That and answering the phone every single day. And like going in and just sacking it up, like, and grinding and just knowing like, yo, I owe $2,000 in rent in 2 days. I'm gonna get it. And then boom, the phone rings. It's so crazy, you know? Like something happens and it just rings, and that's just, when you're in the right place and you're doing the right thing and you're doing it for the right reason, like that's just what happens. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's tenacity, I guess. Whatever. Oh yeah, so musicfeast.io. If anybody wants to look us up, you can sign up for the updates and stuff. Musicfeast.io. We should be launching like the 30th. But again, I like your actual LLC name. Oh, Everybody Eats Entertainment. Yeah, Everybody Eats. Yeah. So that's our goal. You know what I mean? That was when my partner Dion. He's in the music industry too, and he's sick of it too. So, you know, we were like, you know, we just want everybody to be even on this, you know, and that's what the whole goal is everybody to eat, you know what I mean? And yeah.
And actually, too, one thing that I was really excited about tonight to get him out here and everything, because as we continue to do events with NETFREQtv and our company and our platform, we're actually going to be doing ticketing with Music Feast. They're going to be running our ticketing so we can do NFTs, we can work with them and grow, even if it's just using the application of the event ticketing. That's where bringing people to the platform and supporting the people that have helped support our platform, we're here to do that. And that's exactly why East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. Anywhere from here to there where we have an event, we're working with these guys because everybody's going to eat. So.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Lake Busy. All right. And anchoring out. And come on up here to the stage, man. Miss can you hit this one real quick? All right. So everybody doing all right? Everybody got drinks? Everybody good? Just in and out for a minute? Okay. Nice. So we've got 2 more little sessions. First up, it's Kottavei. Come on up here. So it's continuing on the art and, you know, especially with purpose and passion, you know, I loved what our conversation earlier. This is our first day meeting, and so I was excited to like get to meet her, and so she's going to share everything that she does.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kottavei. Can everybody say my name? Kottavei. Oh, I didn't hear y'all. I know y'all music people. You know about call and response. My name is Kottavei. Say that for me. Because what you can't pronounce, you can't remember. So I need you to remember how to say my name. I am one of 2 people with that name in the world. The other guy is an artist who makes knives, still in alignment with our name because my name means warrior, goddess of victory. I answer to the warrior. I answer to the goddess. Thank you very much. So, creativity is the indigenous part of your soul that you choose to share with others. That's my quote. I came up with that because I had to name my creativity. I am the artist child of scientist parents. My mother, rest in power, was a chemist. My dad, who is still alive and well, is a retired entomologist. And I came to my art by hanging out with my dad. He would get up every morning at 4 to go to his lab. I would get up at 4, have first breakfast, then get up again at 7, have second breakfast. But he would drag me with him to his lab in the middle of the forest. I spent my youth running around on acres and acres of land because he was working with trees, which I still love, and I love nature as healing. So as soon as I was old enough, I did that thing kids do. Yeah, my parents are scientists, and they're all right and stuff. I'm not going to do that. I ran in a total opposite direction and ended up being this creative in a space I thought, well, they're scientists. I'm going to go over here and do this because I'm not going to be a scientist. But as I've gotten older, I've come to acknowledge and know that sciences, arts, spirituality are intrinsically linked. We in the world separate them, but they're not separate. They pretty much are the same in an alignment. I'm a visual artist. I'm a 6-time published author. I am a maker. I am a nerd, or the term I prefer is international badass, right? Nerd must stay. I believe that all of those components and pieces have led me to where I am right now as an artist. I worked in different mediums. I'm an educator. I've taught art in Ghana. I've done all of these different things, which I think are, pretty remarkable in themselves. However, one of the things I've found when you talk about in terms of collaboration, I meet people all the time. I've never met a stranger. Like, I know you all. I love you all. I am a student of the world. I travel every single break, every chance I get. I just got back from Cartagena, Colombia, and I have 5 other international trips this year. If the plane is going up, I'm on it as much as possible. You can get your money back. You can't get your experiences in life back. By traveling the world, literally my DNA has changed. Every time I go somewhere new, I just snorkeled to see the plane of Pablo Escobar down in Colombia. I can't swim, but did I do it? Yes. All of these things add to my creativity. I have done some amazing things. Most of my friends are musicians and poets and artists. I have a really good friend, true story. He's like, yeah, Kottavei, it's my birthday. Come paint it live on stage at my birthday party. I was like, yeah, you're my friend. I'm going to do it for you. But I brought 2 canvases because I know I'm going to gift him one. I get to the Wren's Nest, what y'all know about the Wren's Nest? I get to the Wren's Nest over in the West End, and I started painting, and I look over. I was like, oh, shit, is that Ronnie Laws and Lonnie Liston Smith? Oh, shit. It was like one of the best moments in my life, and I did gift him one of those pieces, but it was really cool. So my art right now, when I look around the room and I survey the room, I am one of, she left, I'm the only black girl in the room. Like, literally. This has been my reality. In Atlanta, who is full of beautiful black women, I'm typically the only black woman in the room, right? So my art typically is geared towards even going around the world, the diaspora as it pertains to black women and girls. Because I know you all know that quote, if the hunter always tells the story, he'll always be victorious. I don't need males telling my story. I don't need white women telling my story. I don't need anybody telling my story but me, a black woman. I am are 2 of the most powerful words you can say because what you say thereafter informs your reality. I'm always going to speak on who I am first. Nobody can tell me who I am because I already know deeply. And that's what comes out into my art. So 2 things. The art I'm currently working on, which is a little deviation from what I've been doing, I decided that, in all my black girlness, that if black women are not the walking embodiment of what God is, I don't know who is. So I don't look to God, I am God. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I say that because science proves, I go back to my parents' roots, there's this Eve gene that every person in this world comes from black women. That's genetics. That's not me making this up. You can Google it. It's true. So the art I make right now is I am creating altars, and I'm a textile artist right now, because I've worked in all these different mediums, that are an homage to black women. And so these altars, you are meant to make offerings to the pieces. The piece I just did in Seattle was called I'm the Altar, Not the Sacrifice. Do not approach me without an offering, right? And I had a platform at the base of this amazing piece of this quote hanging on the wall. And I'm like, people are going to make offerings. Yeah, a little something. The platform filled up so much, we had to add 2 other platforms. And those platforms filled up. And I watched women and men and children lean over in homage to this beautiful black woman that I put on a wall and said, she is God. There was hot sauce. There was money. There was tampons. There was confessions. There was a little bit of everything on that altar. I will never know what was on that altar. The sister who deconstructed it to archive it called me crying. She said, I can't believe I have the honor of taking this altar down. I was like, what was on it? I was like, never mind, don't tell me. Whoever buys the piece gets the altar and everything on it. I will never know. It's not for me to know. And I've done 4 other altars since then. And so that's what I'm doing. I have a show coming up in September. It is going to be 78 altars in homage to black women where people can come in and make offerings that mean something to get them. And I will never know what those offerings are. So that's where I'm going with my art. It's exploratory, it's different. People walk in like, wait, that's not my grandmama's quilts. No, these ain't your grandmama's quilts, baby. They not. I typically use whole cloth, which is one piece of fabric. I paint on it, I embellish it, I put words, I put whatever allows me to tell the story. And like a lot of artists, you know, no piece is ever finished, you just decide to stop, right? No song is ever finished, you just decide, okay, it's time to pull up, stop. And so I put myself at a stopping point, I make these pieces. So that's the important thing I'm working on now. The second thing is in the mindset of community, I consider myself a grassroots philanthropist. I don't have no money. I mean, it's that simple. I am a single mom raising 5 black boys in America. I have 2 sets of twins, one in the middle, all sons. The older 3 all graduating college, debt-free. And I have a set of twins in high school that are gonna be out of my house and I'm gonna nomad. However, being a single mother of 5 black young men in America, in a country that despises them just because they came here black, I've had to move a little differently. So instead of nursing my first baby, which is my art, I nursed my sons until they're able to stand on their own. But now, as I lean more into my art, I thought to myself, well, shoot, what would I have wanted? And I'm in a position right now where I'm going to give exactly what I wanted. I downsized my house last year. My house now has a half basement on a golf course, and I'm converting that half basement to a full apartment and a studio space, and I'm going to give, and I do mean give, that space to a black woman writer, visual artist, musician for 14 days at the beginning of every month. Grassroots philanthropy. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know how to do it. You don't have to know where the money's coming from. It's coming from wherever it is right now. It's just a tool. So when I finish converting that space, I'm going to give that space to a black woman specifically because we are the least when it comes to getting grant money, opportunities, things free that we need. And as a single mother, I would have loved to have been able to go to a residency and have some time, but they're not equipped for women who are mothers or who need different types of circumstances to thrive with their art or given the platform. So that's what I'm working on right now. So if you go to my website, you're gonna see like residency coming soon. It's coming as soon as I get it done. But it's coming in its own time, and in the meantime, I'm still making art, I'm still traveling, I'm still shifting my DNA. I was just telling one of my friends, yes, I'm an artist, but even more than that, I'm a maker. I make things, I make art, I make delicious food. I make babies, well, not no more, those days are over. But I'm a maker, I create with my hands, I make wine, I learned how to weld. I'm constantly building and adding to the archive of what I know how to do, whether I use it or not. You're gonna teach me something, I'm gonna learn it. Whether I use it or not, I do like welding, fire. But anything new that I can learn or you can add to me, and we're all changed by talking to anyone we talk to. Every single person I've spoken to tonight has given me some little morsel, some little piece of information that's added to me and changed my DNA creatively. So that's my whole thing on collaboration and community. I'm a collaborator with the whole entire world, and I'm gonna continue to do that so that I can grow and my art can grow. Does anyone have questions? Oh, yeah. I have a few shows this year, but I'm excited about the one in Wisconsin. I was like, Wisconsin? Because I did a show in Seattle literally before the plane landed back here. I had like 7 calls, like, we saw the altar, we want to give you a show. And I was like, what? I never look for shows. They always come, and I trust the universe. My whole life philosophy is what's for me is for me and will surely come, and what's not will pass me by, period. So, yeah. Any other questions? Of what? Pie? No, I'm kidding. My favorite piece of what? There are 2 pieces, really. One, it's a work of art, at least for my dad. I made him a bee quilt, California King, hand stitch every stitch, and put all his grandchildren's and children's names on the back. He sleeps under it every night. So piece I made that you won't ever see that. My favorite piece that's in one of my collector's collection is called We Come to the Ancestors Naked. And when you look at that piece, it's 2 figures facing one another, and one is gray and bald and very basic, and the other one's all light-filled and glorious, and you look at the light-filled one, you're like, oh, yeah, that's how we come. Oh, no, we're the bald gray ones. The ancestors we go to receive our gifts from are light-filled and effervescent and of the universe. That's one of my favorite pieces I've ever made. Yeah. Anyone else? I'll send you a picture of that one. I definitely will. Okay, well, thank you. This has been great.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, I've enjoyed getting to meet everybody, and I know for the camera's sake, I'm definitely going to go ahead and close this out and say thank you, everybody, for showing up. This was our first Studio Stories Live, and, at the end of the day, I think that this was a good start to just getting, our reps in. That was the main thing, was tonight, get the reps in. We literally planned this a week out, and you guys showed up and really supported, and listening to me is not the best thing when it comes to, now we have really great DJs for the night. So stay around, hang out, drink, eat, and thank y'all for showing up. This is Studio Stories.